Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Nikki Ballou is an amazing authority. He's our guest today, hailing from Canada. I believe you're in what city, Nikki?
Toronto.
Toronto. All right. Well, the East Coast. We're about 12 hours apart exactly.
Exactly.
I'm looking forward to this. So we've had a little bit of pre-call discussion. You're a multi-book author, New York Times best-selling author. Let's do a little show and tell on your books, because I respect an author, number one, but a multi-book author, that's a different level. One which is very few people write a book, and even smaller fraction of those people write a second book, much less you fanned all your books before we started recording. Tell us about those books, the New York Times best-selling books.
Well, I appreciate you asking. I've been a reader since I was a kid. I started reading at 5 years old and I was hooked. And I'm 58 now, and I estimate that I've read over 5,000 books in my lifetime.
Wow.
I've been tracking the number of books I've been reading since the mid 2000s, and close to about 18, 19 years. And during that time frame, I'm closing in on 1,900 books during that time frame. Last year alone, I read 149 books. The least number of books I've read in a year in the last 19 years has been 39. That's the first year I met my sweetheart, Teresa, and I was so smitten with her that I just wasn't paying a lot of attention to books.
Oh, okay.
Then the last 7 years in a row, I've read between 100 and 149 books. So I just love books. I think they're great. They're awesome. They're fun. And growing up, I always wanted to be an author. I just never ended up pursuing it. I mean, I don't know. Someone talked me out of going after that dream full bore. That was a mistake. But then in 2013, my good buddy Raymond Aaron said, look, you can write a book. You don't need a traditional publisher. He showed me how to do it. And that's when I wrote my first book. It's 30 pages long. It's called Finish Line Thinking, How to Think and Win Like a Champion. And it was a pure business book. Basically brought the ideas of gold medal athletes to the average person. Because I worked with 2 Olympic champions, and my girlfriend is a 3-time Guinness World Record holder in running 12 plus hours on a treadmill. It's pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. She's fit, is she?
She's crazy fit. So this book helped me get a lot of coaching clients because I had a coaching program. And then one of my clients suggested that I redo it. And so I did, and I made it 42 pages.
Okay.
And so these are the 2 copies of Finish Line Thinking, How to Think and Win Like a Champion. And basically I used these 2 books, and they've conservatively generated $4 million for me. After I wrote these books, I wrote a fitness book with Olympic champion Mark McCoy. And then I wrote a couple other books. Very quickly, I wrote The Power of Connecting, How to Generate Profitable Relationships Through Serving Your Network.
Can I see the cover? Because it was a little low. Okay. Yep. All right.
And I also wrote The Thought Leader's Journey, Fable of Life, which is this book.
Can you show the cover because it's a little low? There we go.
I wrote a children's book during that time as well, so we're up to 4 books there. And then I wrote a couple of political books, and then I wrote this book, How to Create $1 Million a Year Income, with Perry Wong. And then I wrote this book, Get Booked and Get Paid: How to Generate 6 Figures Plus a Year Through Podcast Guesting.
Let's dig into that a little bit, because that's relevant to our group of listeners. And like you said, you just recently did a keynote at a very prestigious group called TLC.
Yep.
Tell us who TLC is, so the listeners are.
Transformational Leadership Council.
Mhm.
They are the group of people that were featured in the movie The Secret back in 2006.
Mhm.
And they include some of the world's greatest transformational leaders, mostly from the old guard, the folks who'd been around doing this since the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. A lot of the newer people, they're not part of TLC and they're doing their own thing in their own way. But TLC includes some absolute legendary figures in the transformational leader space.
Yes, many of whom I know or have shared the stage with, and you mentioned Raymond Aaron. My very first time speaking in Dubai, where I met Vishen, Raymond was also speaking there
yeah.
back then, and
Phenomenal self speaker from stage.
yeah, he's very good. He's very,
Very
good.
good.
One of the top 10, I would say, that I have seen.
Easy. For me, I'd probably say the best that I've ever seen sell from stage the way that he does it. There've been others I've seen who've been good, but Raymond has gotten the most results consistently over the longest period of time. I will say this, speaking to a cold audience, there's nobody better than Raymond in my experience. But speaking to an audience that I've gotten to spend 2, 3 days with, I'm the best I've ever seen. And the reason is because over that time, I kind of pour into them and love on them, and they kind of fall in love with me and my lady, and we work it so powerfully that all the people in that room by the end of the 3, 4 days, they just they want more of us. So when we offer something to them, our close ratio is 65 to 100%.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And this is for super high ticket, like 40K plus items.
And so that's the power of connection. I mean, what you've really summarized is connection. I think you wrote a book on connecting, didn't you?
I did. The power of connecting. Yeah.
So if you were to mention 3 necessary elements for connecting well, what would they be?
You got to love people, man.
Okay.
It can't just be about you and me, myself, and I, and what's in it for me. There's a fellow named Justin Sterling who created a program called the Sterling Men's Weekend, and he passed away last year in March, which is sad. But Justin has this diagram called the suck hole diagram, the suck hole chart, and basically it's shaped like an inverted kind of funnel, and the bottom of it is a suck hole. It's like a toilet bowl, honestly, and the higher up the suck hole you are, the more your concerns are with a larger number of people. So the suck hole is where people go right down through the drain, but right above that is just individual concerns. And above that is relationship concerns. And then it's family or team. And then it's organization. And then it's society. And then it's humanity. So the more you focus on what's in it for me and what I want, the more your life's actually going to suck. You know what I mean? So you really got to be all about making a difference for people. That doesn't mean you don't get to participate in the successes that God has to offer to the world. You absolutely do, and you should have an eye on that. But it can't be your primary focus. Your primary focus has to be about making a difference for people. And I told you before we got started recording that I'm originally from Iran. I'm a Christian. And Iran's very much in the news right now. And the brave men and women of Iran are stepping into the streets, demonstrating for their freedoms. And these are young men and women putting their bodies between bullets.
Jeez.
And they are marching into the fire. There was a young girl, the crown prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, the son of the late Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi.
Sure.
He was just interviewed on CBS News, and I highly encourage you to go watch that interview. And they asked him, they said, these people are willing to die for their country and for their freedom, for their cause. And they asked him, well, what do you think of that? And what are you willing to do? He said, I'm willing to die for them and for my country too. And he said, when I was 19 years old, Iraq invaded Iran, and I offered to go back to Iran as a pilot to fight for my country as a patriot against the invading Iraqis, because he was a trained fighter pilot, US F-16 fighter jets, right? It's a genuine badass, right? And they said, would you be willing to die? He says, yes, what's my life compared to the lives of millions? And he spoke about this young girl. There's this young girl, beautiful young girl. I don't know if you've seen young Persian women, but they are some of the most stunningly
Oh,
beautiful
gorgeous. I had a
women on
Persian girlfriend once upon a
the
time.
fucking planet, man. They're
Yeah.
so good looking. Like it's sometimes hard to concentrate. That's how good looking they are.
I've met a
As a
few.
man, it's just you're like, duh. So, and he said this beautiful young woman was shot in the face by the regime forces. And I think she's 21, 22 years old.
Uh,
She's in the hospital and her jaw is broken, and the doctor's trying to treat her and set her. And then she's going right back in the street with a broken, shot at jaw. And the doctor's going, what are you doing? Why are you going out there? She said, I need to go back out into the street and fight for my king because he's going to come back and save us all.
wow.
And dude, I'm listening to this and I'm going, okay. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter book, said that the bravery of the Iranian people is absolutely astounding. And she said they are a light in what lately has seemed like a dark, dark world. And I listened to her and I go, you're right. Their bravery is absolutely astounding. And I think to myself as a businessman, and like I work with a lot of clients, and many of these people, they're a little afraid of going out there and asking for business or putting marketing themselves out there and doing marketing and sales. And sometimes even I'm a little afraid. And after I've observed the courage of these young men and women ready to die so they have their rights and they can be free, if they're willing to stand in front of bullets for their rights, I'm willing to stand in front of a fucking prospect and ask them to do business with me. And I don't give a good goddamn if that prospect approves of me or how I'm doing it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And more of us need to look at these brave people that are in business and go, what the fuck am I doing saying I don't want to sell? I don't want to get in front of people. I don't want to ask. I'd rather do this. Excuse me, but fuck you. Fuck you. You pusillanimous, wimpy, pussified piece of crap. Stop. Stand in front of that customer and be willing to face opprobrium or disapproval. And if they're the right person, ask them if they would like your help and then make an offer and ask for the money. And if you're feeling nervous, go on Instagram and watch 10 minutes of videos of little kids getting shot for their rights. And maybe that'll fucking shame you or inspire you, hopefully inspire you, not shame you, into getting out and being in front of those clients and going after your dreams. Because you won the human lottery. Okay? You won the human lottery. You are living in a safe, free place where you can pursue your dreams and nothing standing in your way. So stop it. Stop telling me about your wimpiness, your pussiness. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it from myself. So I'm telling you this. I don't want to hear it from myself. I'm not going to be a pussy anymore. I had a call with a man today who was giving me bullshit excuses, and I went right into his excuses.
Mm.
And I told him they were excuses, and I told him he was full of crap. And at the end of the day, I said, look, I can't make you do nothing. You don't want to do this, don't do it. But nothing's going to change for you because you don't have the guts to do what needs to be done, which is face the fact that you don't have as much sales as you want because you suck at sales, you refuse to get better at it, and you refuse to get the help you need. And that's how you need to talk to people, brother. That's how you need to talk to people. Not, well, it's okay, no problem. You can do whatever you want to do. Fuck that. If they need you, tell them they need you. Don't be nice.
Shock them into shape.
You know what nice is? Nice is an old English word that means a simpleton. You want to be a simpleton out there in the world? You who call yourself a thought leader? A thinker? You want to be a simpleton in how you go about putting yourself out there in the world? No, sir. I'm a bold stand for my fellow man. And if that means some of them are not going to like me, good. 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 I revel in it because I know there's way more that are going to be attracted to my bold love and clarity.
Well, Nikki, you've got a couple podcasts. One is a business podcast, and one is about you've extended an invitation, and thank you for that in advance, to talk on your men's podcast. Is this a little bit of a taste as to what type of energy is going on in that podcast?
Sometimes I'm quieter
Okay.
because I ask the questions.
Sure.
I'm not doing most of the talking on my podcasts. I'm doing most of the listening. So,
but you lead them. You lead your guests.
Yeah. But when I'm coming on a show today in January 2026, after my compatriots are being slaughtered in the streets because they're asking for their freedom, this is the energy I'm bringing to the
No, I get it. How old were you when you left Iran?
I was 13.
Okay, so you were young. Okay, because that makes sense because you don't have an accent. And that I think 13, 14 is
never had an accent.
Well, but 13
never had an accent. I learned how to speak English when I was 5.
Oh, okay. But typically
we went to an American school in Iran. We didn't
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's why.
Farsi school. We went to the American Community School.
All right. Well, that's why you don't have the accent because typically after age 14 it's almost impossible to shake an accent if you don't raise with it, but that explains why you have no accent. Oh, no. There you go. And have you been back since?
Once in 2000.
How was that?
It was bittersweet. It was wonderful, and it was heartbreaking at the same time.
I bet with some of these experiences that are, or what people are experiencing right now in that environment.
Yes.
Have you written a book about this?
No.
Do you think that would be helpful?
Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, therapeutic. I'm just wondering, even therapy is more about awareness because you have an obvious passion about it because they are your countrymen. This is where your birth country. I mean, I know you're a resident of Canada now, but you'll never get Iran out of your blood because that's where you come from. And you obviously have a strong heart for those people. Describing that woman that got shot in the face. Horrible. It reminds me of what happened in Minneapolis recently. This woman, mother of 3, got bullied by ICE. So things happen.
I saw the video, man. She drove at that cop. I mean, I can appreciate that guy should not have shot at her, okay? Like I'm telling you, he should have tried to shoot for the tires. I 100% don't think he needed to shoot this fucking woman in a car. But, I saw the video from 5 angles, man, and she drove at him. She drove at him, and the cops told her, get out of your car. And listen, man, I don't know what universe you live in, but when a cop tells me, get out of your car, my first response is, let me not drive away. I'm like, all right, let me get out of the car.
Hands up.
These people want hands up. All good. Those dudes have guns. And when you don't obey them, they get itchy. You know what I'm saying? They get itchy. So nobody is happy this lady got shot. But lady, what the hell were you thinking?
Right.
What the hell were you thinking? Like, seriously, you're a mother of children and you're not obeying the police? Is that what you want to teach your sons? Right? And it cost you your damn life. You drove at a cop. Now, I'm telling you, I am not in favor of him shooting her in the face. Not at all. But you drove at a fucking cop when they told you to stop and get out of your car. Hello? Like, come on, dude. You think in Thailand, brother, if the Thai police told you stop and you started driving away, what do you think they do?
Oh, it'd be over. And there are no rights here. There's no lawsuit none of that.
In what other country would a police officer tell you to stop and you drove kind of toward one of them rather than listen to them? Would this not go this way?
Oh,
I can't think of one.
They beat the shit out of you. They beat the shit out of you.
Kill you. Or kill you. Or
possibly.
Fucking kill you. This dude shot her. And when I saw him do it, I go, dude, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that, man? That's a girl. Fuck, you're a man, man. You know what? I even get she clipped you, but she was not. That was not a killing blow. But also, I read that he'd been hit by another guy who dragged him fucking 90 feet and he'd had like stitches and rips in his body. So maybe it was deja vu all over again. And he was going, this happen again. I'm not fucking putting up with this shit again. So you know, I
Two sides to that story.
I am so fucking horrified that it came to this. But also that woman and the people that encouraged her to think this was a good idea, shame on you. Shame on all of you. Shame on your wife who said, drive away, baby, drive away. What the fuck would you do that for? What are you, stupid?
Mm.
These are dudes with guns. You have a megaphone, they have guns. No. Put your fucking megaphone away and do not antagonize the man with a lawful right to shoot you.
Well, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. It just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. Well, let's shift gears for a second. I want to let our listeners learn about the 6 figures from podcast guesting.
Sure.
That in itself is huge. It worked for me. I'm going to buy your book. That's the one I'm going to buy and read and consume because it worked for me.
Right.
I did it for 2 reasons. One, it gave me ideas for when I started my own podcast, and I'm about 160 episodes into that now. And I approached it as a different platform, guesting there. I have a deep television background as a show host, but podcasting is different. Time frames are not as strict. Television is very structured. This is a lot more free-wielding. What have you experienced as a host? What makes a good guest? And how can they turn that into money? I mean, I know that they're going to have to buy the book to get all the tips, but tip your hat a little bit, if you wouldn't mind.
All right. So most people go on shows and their number one vision of them on a show is I'm going to have a great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Get some more people to like me. I'm going to get some more people to become my followers and have more visibility. And hopefully some of them will buy my book or get on my calendar or whatever. It is hopium. You familiar with hopium?
Yep, I get it.
Yeah. So unless you have enough of a following and a brand to be on a significant size podcast with a strong following, that is a flawed strategy.
Hopium. I like that word. That's good. I'm going to borrow that, Nikki.
Yeah. It's not original. Someone else
sure, but it's good.
taught it to me. Mark von Muser is his name. He's actually my co-author for the book.
Hopium.
But
it's good.
Hopium. So for the average person listening to this show, that strategy is not going to get you anywhere. Okay. You're not a big enough name. I'm just going to be straight with you. You're not a big enough name for those big podcasts to be interested in having you on. You can spend tens of thousands of dollars by going onto PR agencies, and most of them, if they're lucky, they'll get you on one show like that because they caught a break. You're just not a big enough person that most of those big shows are going to be interested in bringing you on board. They want people of their stature and higher. That's how they grow.
Entrepreneur on Fire is an example. John Lee Dumas, he charges $4,000 to be a guest on his show.
Well, I've been on his show twice before he did that, and God bless him because he's doing that now. But I wouldn't pay him $4,000 to go on a show. I'm like, John, forget it. But the truth of the matter is, for most people today, going on John Lee Dumas's show, unless you're willing to do pay to play, it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. And pay to play, you're never going to make your money back. I'm just being straight with you. You're just not.
Sure. Or Lewis Howes, who's got a big show, or what's the other? Robin, I forgot. Robbins, the lady Robbins. Mel Robbins. Yeah.
So what to do if you can't get on those shows? Well, my strategy that I figured out is doesn't matter the size of the show. And I'll tell you the story behind how this happened was lockdowns, Canada, our live events business had to come up with something else. Went to my coach, Mark, freaking out here. What can I do? I said, give me a minute. Let me think. Literally a minute later, he said, why don't you start going being a guest on other people's shows, but not for likes and followers, but for relationships, leads, client sales. I go, great. How do we do it? He said, I have no freaking idea, but we'll figure it out together. Great coaching, right? So I used Podmatch platform you and I met through, and I went on 100 shows in 30 days. So I was all in, right? I got nothing in terms of relationship lead sales and clients, but I learned a ton. Mark's a military man, so we did after action debriefs after every episode. Show 101, it all clicked. Got my first relationship, first lead, first sale, first client.
After show 101. Wow.
Show 101. And since then, I've been over 900 podcasts as a guest. 900 podcasts as a guest. Today, this is my fifth show. Today, fifth show. Okay. So I am a machine.
As a guest or a combination guest and host?
4 guests, 1 host.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you lazy man.
So, and on top of that, I had 2 sales calls. So yeah. And here's what I figured out. The value for someone who is not a big name to go on a podcast is not the audience, but the host.
I like that. I like that. And I agree. And I agree.
Fellow seeker. The host is a fellow business person. The host has problems that you can solve potentially. And the host is going to spend 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in intimate proximity to you. And by the end of that time, if you are a skilled guest, you will have developed enough rapport and know, like, and trust that the door is open to a business relationship. Okay. What I did after the 100 shows is I learned how to structure my guest appearance in a very particular way. Now, I've broken a few of those rules in this conversation with you because I look at us a little differently than I look on the average show that I go on, but I've kept most of them. And it's all about you understanding that this needs to be treated like a TED Talk. You don't just go on a TED Talk stage and vomit for 18 minutes. You know what you're going to say, you know when you're going to say it. And you need stories. And my objective on every show I go on is threefold. First, I want to inspire the audience. Now, look, dude, straight up, I am the world's greatest podcast guest. There's nobody better at this than me on the planet. I've been on over 900 shows since May 2022. Not one human on the planet has put in the reps that I have. There's nobody better. I rock. I inspire audiences. I come in, my energy's magnetic. I tell fantastic stories, and people leave going, damn, that dude was good. And that's my goal. I want to make them feel that way. 2, Mitch, you are spending time, energy, money to put this show on. You're taking a big risk. What if I'm a dud? So in my mind, I intend for you to leave this episode to go, this is the best damn guest I ever had. I want him back. That's my second intention. I want you to have feedback from your audience and your peers. Yo, who's that dude you had on your show from Iran and Canada? Man, he was on fire. Get more guests like him. I want your brand to be elevated because I brought it on the show. So you follow me on the first 2 intentions so far? I'm very deliberate in making sure that happens every time I go on a show.
Okay.
But 3, and this is very important, okay? 3, what I do when I go on a show is I have my eye on developing a relationship and a friendship with you, the host. Because by doing so, there's an opportunity for you and I to do business. There's an opportunity for you and I to do collaborative things together. There's an opportunity for you to come on my podcast and me platforming you as well. There's an opportunity for me to make introductions for you and you to make introductions for me. You follow me, Mitch? This is the gold that every person missed because they go on Podmatch and they go, Mitch's audience is going to get back to me.
Bullshit. Just
That's
doesn't
unlikely.
happen.
It just doesn't happen.
No, and I'm going
But
to
Mitch,
Yeah.
but Mitch liking me, Mitch thinking I'm a good guy, and Mitch hearing something in what I said to say, man, maybe I need that, or man, maybe my clients need that, or man, maybe I can collaborate with this guy and we can make money together. That possibility is somewhere in the neighborhood of 80%.
Mhm.
8 out of every 10 shows I go on, I build a strong enough relationship with the person that something else becomes possible.
Well,
Now,
I'm
you
going to produce,
and
as an
Mitch,
example, let me just jump in here.
yeah.
I'm going to produce a podcast summit coming up in April. And I'm going to already give you an invite to come in as one of the speakers, as a podcast host for Asia. It's an Asian focused market, because over here there aren't as many. The density of podcast hosts doesn't come close to what it is in the States. I'm just calling North America. You're Canadian, but you get my point. North America. I'm just calling it North American English speaking. So that is already results. Like, okay, you've got a nice spin and you've got a couple podcasts. I'm going to have you as a guest. So there's the hard invite. It'll be coming in the next couple months. So we'll be doing that. It'll all be recorded, but this is all podcasters throughout Asia with some non-Asians included. Just add a little color.
Well, beautiful. Well, there you go. So that already happened.
There it is. There it is.
When I teach people how to structure their podcast guest appearance, and
Mm.
they do it the way I teach them,
Mm.
dude, they become podcast ninjas. So I've been a guest on 4 shows today.
Mm.
One of them was great, but the guy is like, he's an employee for someone else doing his podcast. So he's not a fit for me in any way. Bye-bye. But I set up 2 follow-up discovery calls as a result of those podcast appearances I did today. 2. And this show, you've already invited me to be a speaker at a summit. So 3 of the 4 shows have moved my energy, my message, my brand, my business, my sales numbers forward.
Well, because you also have written books. So you've shown me, and I liken this to the peacock, because male peacocks show their feathers to attract the females. It's what we do. And books attract seminar promoters. I've produced over 2,000 events in my life from around the world in 19 different countries. I've spoken on stages in 63. But what puts speakers on my platforms? Media, author, and then proof of being an exceptional speaker with numbers that are verified. But I started with media, and book, because how can you claim to be an expert without validating it through the feathers, plural, of books? So true. I'm sure I'm speaking your language. I don't know how to say it in Farsi, but you can for me later. But it's universal, isn't it? It's universal. I don't know. Maybe you speak French as well because you're in Toronto. Well, that's okay. All right. Well, I speak Spanish, but it's the same worldwide. It's the same in the Middle East. If you're speaking Arabic, it's the same in Pakistan. Why I was the keynote speaker and sold 800 grand from the stage one day in Tokyo is because I'm a published author and I'm also a media personality. I had the plumage that the other speakers didn't. It's all about positioning.
Yeah. 100%.
And so you're there. Well, where can people get a hold of you, Nikki?
I'm the only Nikki Ballou on planet Earth. So you type my name on any social media platform, NICKYBILLOU, you'll find me. I also have written 11 books. And if you're a seeker or a thought leader, you ought to read books. Go to Amazon and buy a couple of my books. I also have 2 podcasts, and I've been a guest on 900 podcasts. Go on your favorite podcast platform, type in my name, check me out on shows, including this one, but besides this one as well. And then finally, man, if you want to have a conversation about how you can take your business to another level, how you can get this fear, this lack of self-belief out of you and be brave and courageous like those lions of Iran in your life and in your business, then you want to get on my calendar at ecircleacademy.com/appointment. That's
right.
it.
Well, Nikki, thank you so much. You've been an amazing authority for sure. I will have you back on the summit, and who knows, maybe we'll, and I look forward to being a guest on your male podcast where I can share my testosterone to a male audience. Okay. All right, buddy. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.